when you start like just zooming out a little bit, just tapping into it a little bit, noticing the space between your thoughts, noticing that like that incessant stream of thinking beyond that is like there's just awareness. When you start just even zooming out a little bit, you'll start to see stuff, man. You'll start to notice the truth. And it's gonna pull you into more suffering because you have to purge some stuff, man. There's no way around it. And the source is going to start feeding you more and more events and happenings and people and ideas and beliefs to get to purge through. To say, hey, oh, you think you've achieved like this awakening, enlightened state? No, I have some more for you. And you need to react to it and learn from it and grow from it. And once you go through all of those experiences from your past lives and in this current life, now you're ready to truly be free. Now you're ready to really step beyond your conditioned, multi-layered mental self that you've projected and are creating from. And that's why, like, ultimately, the law of attraction will always be flawed, how people are teaching it now, because you're trying to get all of this stuff. And the most powerful manifestation tool is to be just the self that exists outside of wanting and needing all of this stuff to complete itself, that wants to experience stuff. You know, that's why like a lot of religions and mythologies are like, go beyond desire. No, your desires are fine, okay? The problem is that you're losing yourself in your wants and your desires. There's a difference between a need and a want. I need to breathe. I need to drink water. I need to sometimes eat. And I need to like have a place to rest. And that's about it. And when you tap into your truest self, you recognize that essential truth. Just basic sustenance. And everything else is just superfluous nonsense. And it's okay to like it's like, oh, and then now like I put up an Instagram story of me, like I visited Paris or something, and everyone's like, Darius, you said don't lose yourself in experiences, you're a hypocrite. Why'd you go to Paris? No, man. You can still go do that stuff, but I'm not losing myself in it. I'm not putting up the story to get all the likes and be like, hey man, look at me. I'm so fucking cool that I'm in Paris. You know, there's a difference between one intention and the other. One of them, I'm putting up my stuff and I'm like, I'm just sharing. Maybe somebody would casually, like my family or my friends would like to know what I've been up to, and I had a great time. And other people are doing it because it's like, oh, don't you want to worship me? Don't you want to envy me? Aren't you jealous of me that I was doing all of these cool things? And you're doing that out of an insecurity, out of your conditioned layer of insecurity that you're always projecting. The mind is insecure. It can only be insecure, the mind, the ego. It has to build itself up with all these layers. That's why people that are like really really have built their image around knowledge. They learn all of these things and they think that they're super knowledgeable about all these things. They read tons of books. They have lots of information, but they're devoid of the spirituality. It's like, yeah, okay, you know some stuff. Cool, you seem educated. That's important. You know, you do need a base level of education to live a full life, to learn how to critically think and analyze and build up some logic and reason and understand that stuff. Yes, that stuff is amazing. But people go too far in the other extreme of knowledge. This happens especially in science and like the physical studies, you know, and even history and whatever. Like you build up all of these ideas and thoughts and stuff like that. And then like you have like these mental ideations that you're like arguing back and forth over. And you're putting yourself in your arguments between people. And I can't lose the argument or else I'm a failure. Your insecurity, ultimately, the need to be right is your weakness. I don't care if you think I'm right or wrong, man. I could give two fucks. People have left some comments already on my videos. They're like, oh, the Bible didn't say that, or, you know, Jesus is the only truth and the way and the light. It's like, okay, cool, man. Like, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I don't care. My message is going to resonate with those that are ready to really see the truth. You're not ready. because you're too limited by your own Christianity, your own conditioned, like the Bible is the truth literally. Like, fuck, man, are you serious, man? Are you serious with how much delusion is in the fucking Bible? That's the pure truth? Because somebody, like you inherited it. Somebody gave it to you. They're like, hey man, here's this Bible. And because I told you that this is true, you believe that it's true, all of it. 100%. Every word. And there's no critical thinking on your own to be like, something's off. Something's off, man. And yeah, 10% of it is true, 5%, 9%. No one knows the exact number, but the vast majority of it is fucking delusion and nonsense based on egoic fear that has been inherited and passed down through the generation. Misogyny and like homophobia and all kinds of crazy shit. And your truest freedom exists beyond any of those labels, man. If I see a homosexual, a gay person, I love them. I acknowledge them for the entity of beauty and humanity that they are. I don't limit them only through their homosexuality. It's fine. It's just one aspect of how the divine is wanting to understand and experience sexuality, guys. And a woman, like we've turned women into pieces of shit through time, man. And so now the women have naturally felt this need to like go on the opposite end of the spectrum through feminism. And so a lot of women today have built up this like conditioned feminist self. And even that's wrong too. The truth lies in somewhere in the middle, guys. Women aren't pieces of shit, but they're also not like the super most powerful dominant force on the planet. You know, men are here too. There's a balance between the male and the female, the divine feminine and the divine masculine that this new age nonsense is always talking about. Those polarities are needed. It's where the creative spark comes from. Well, no, that's wrong. I misspoke. The true creative spark comes from neither of the polarities, but it manifests itself in the physical, kind of what I meant, as those divine energetic aspects. The feminine receives, the masculine takes action. But the feminine body, the female, has the male aspects too, right? Does the female not take action and create? And does the man also not receive? Action and rest, light and dark, truth and lie, bad and good, all duality, all aspects of the mind, and all the only way that the mind can understand this reality. When you're in the great beyond, when you've passed, guys, when you die finally and you go back, you're not thinking like we think here, man. You remember all of your past lives. Times when maybe you were like incarnated as like a Jew in the ancient times or as a Roman, and you remember all of those languages. Your consciousness is so expanded that it knows everything automatically. It's just that piece. But now we are just slivers of consciousness. We can only know 1 or 2 or 10 languages. We're limited. We can only experience one thing at a time in this physical, right? Like, I'm only in one place at one time, anywhere. I'm not, like, my truest self is always connected to everything. My truest self, my consciousness, my awareness is always connected to everything in the subconscious. But the conscious, the physical aspect of the mind and your physical body is only here, like right now, creating itself, participating in life. That's all. It's the only place you can do it. And so like with your mind, with all of these fucking layers upon layers of bullshit that exist out there, you need to see through it. There's no way around it, guys. The only way that you are going to find your truest self, the only way that you're going to really, really experience God itself is outside of your mind. And a lot of people don't want to do the work that's required to see beyond the mind. It's kind of scary and it's uncomfortable. And you'd rather be distracted doing other shit. Anything but this boredom and weirdness, guys. I can't handle it. I can't sit down and meditate. Oh my God, no way. No fucking way. That is way too woo-woo. And what's the end goal here? And then you tell the person, oh, it's to tap into your truest, most authentic, amazing self. No, I don't believe that. And so this thought, this belief that you have about that can't possibly be true, prevents you from even going into it and searching for it and understanding it and like analyzing your different thoughts and seeing which ones are true, discerning between the truth and the lie of your truest self and your true mind. No, I can't possibly do that. Or no, I don't even want to do that. That's gross. Ew. Ew. That woo-woo shit. No, man. Praise Jesus. I'm going to go to church and I'm going to be fed all of these dogmatic principles about what Jesus was, and I'm just going to take it wholeheartedly. I mean, it's just like, hook, line, and sinker, I believe. Thank you. Because the story was just so cunningly created. It's a magnetic story, guys. It's a like wonderful story. It really is. But it's not all true. You can look at Jesus for what he truly was, and that's just like a truth teller. And there have been many, and there will be many. At our core, we are all truth tellers. And it manifests itself as different varieties of a human. What this truth teller looks like. He can have one background, he can have another background, like I was brought up Orthodox Christian. So Jesus was always a big part of my life. And something always felt off when I was reading through that stuff, man. And if something wasn't off with that stuff, I wouldn't have kept searching for the truth and the answers that lie in the overarching like spiritual umbrella and the philosophical umbrella. Truth is everywhere. It's not only through one little sliver. Like, it's not only owned by Christianity. And like, oh, the Catholic version is a bastardized version, and only the Orthodox Greek, because I'm half Greek and half Persian. The other half is, it's only the Greek Orthodox Christian religion that's true, guys, and the Roman Catholic is bastardized, even though they both believe in the same fundamental shit. Stupid. And then like Protestants and Baptists and like so many different like sub-dogmas, sub-like cultures of the same fucking thing. No, you don't do this, but you do this. No, you don't believe in this, but you do this. And we do this with everything. It isn't just religion, but for me, that's like the easiest example because it's truly insane. Some of the stuff that we're doing in the name of religion and that we have done as a human species in the name of religion, my God, your God, and you're like taking ownership over aspects of like the divine. It's nonsense. It doesn't work that way. You're basically like taking ownership over a mental thought. You're like, I own that thought. I own it. It's mine. Mine is better than yours. I'm better than you. It's like self-preservation. It has to, me, I gotta survive. I gotta kill, or else I'm not gonna live. And the ironic thing is that you're not truly living, even when you think you're living. Like, you truly live when you let go. That's why Jesus is like saying, you have to let go of your life to truly live, guys. It isn't about some like kingdom of heaven that exists in the great beyond. Yes, some parts of it are like worded that way and kind of delusional in that way. But the truth of what he's pointing to, the core truth is like when you finally let go of your life, even your physical, that's where the true power lies. Because you realize that like God's in control, man. You have choice. And I've talked about this in my like free will versus destiny video, I've gone very, very much into it. There's no point in rehashing all of it. But your mind can't handle not being in control. The conditioned self likes being in control. It wants to know what's going to happen. And that's why it's always projecting itself into the future. That's why it's always afraid. It's always anxious. And when you can't control the outcome, you even start getting depressed over it. You start internalizing all of that fear and thinking that you're the fuck up, but you're not. It's just life happening, and like you're overreacting and over like, woe is me to like what did or didn't happen in life. And that's not where your true power comes from. I don't give a shit about what happens or what doesn't happen, man. I really don't. I'm just here participating in life. I would like it to look a certain way. I recognize that like the earth and people on the earth are out of control and we need to, course correct before we destroy the planet. I'd like for stuff to like, but my own personal story, man, as long as I'm contributing to truth and love and compassion and taking care of my fellow human and being a good steward of the earth, that's all that matters to me. The money and the fame and the egoism and like the jealousy and the envy and all of this nasty shit that we have, fuck all of that, man. And I'm not saying money is nasty. I'm saying the want, the need for more, the lust for more, the lust for power, the lust for all of this fake shit. Get rid of all of that, man. See beyond it. That's part of your conditioned self. That's part of your mental projection. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you guys like, I'm not gonna vibe with you, man. But at least read other people, read some philosophy, and especially read on Krishnamurti, because his shit is designed to unravel your mind the way it's worded and the way it's done. He's amazing. He's amazing. I love him like from the bottom of my heart, just like I love Yogananda and Jesus and like all of the people and truth tellers that have had significant impact on my life, like Ramana Maharshi and Buddha and all these guys. Like I love them all. And Krishnamurti was like the most influential in helping me unravel and seeing between the different layers of my conditioned self. He does it so eloquently, and he's so willing and active and able and wanting to like dive deep into it. He's like, let's go into it. Let's go into it. Let's analyze the fuck out of it. You know, he's like, the mind is going to analyze the mind, and you're never going to find your truest self in the mind, but we're going to get as damn close as possible. We're going to critically think our way into fucking, if it's the last thing I fucking do, I'm going to do it. He's putting effort in, man. Like the seeking you will find, like he's looking. You know, and then and like in other videos, I'm like, no, don't try, don't look, you know, let go and stuff. Yes, you have to try until you no longer need to try. You have to seek until you no longer need to seek. Like for me, I used to seek all the time. I would go into rabbit holes, man, on the internet searching nothing but spiritual stuff. Wikipedia pages open, different home pages open, reading, bouncing back and forth. Oh, this leads to this and this leads to that. And my mind is being filled. These thought constructs are being filled with all of this different religious and like spiritual stuff and techniques and ideas and like, you know, interpretations and archetypes and ideologies, all of those different things. And I'm trying to get myself closer and closer and closer. And all it is me just understanding different aspects, different layers, different like layers of the onion, you know, just like that's all it is. The more I was going deeply into it, ironically, the further away I was getting from my truest self, because all I was doing was building up more and more knowledge. And that's not truly where the spirituality lies. The great knowing that we talk about doesn't exist in a mental thought. It exists in a feeling knowing. It exists in an intuition. It's not up here, it's here. That's why they always talk about the heart, man. That's why they always talk about the heart. That's where your truest self comes out of. That's where your intuition is based. That's why like you have the broken heart, you feel like you're gonna freaking die. You can't function. Your compass is off. And I'm like overanalyzing all of these things while I'm trying to read up on it and learn about it all. And I needed to do all of that to like realize that I can let go of it. At some point, all of that seeking got repetitive. At some point, I realized all of these branches lead to the same thing. It doesn't matter which religion or which philosophy or which archetype you buy into, guys. It's the same thing, just colored in a different way. Just explained through a different wording. It's just a little slightly different energy of the same whole. That's all. That's perfect. You know, and like you could go to like India and participate in one of like their god festivals, even as a Christian or a Muslim, because you respect the divine aspect that they have created for themselves. And you can go to church and you can go to temple, you know, you can go to the mosque and pray. And you're not judging all these people for not believing in their true chosen God that you believe in. You're like, oh wow, look how beautiful this surrender is that the Muslims do by kneeling and praying. Look how perfect that is. How they came up with that. And the Christians and how they sing. Oh my God, the monks, the Gregorian monks and the like Orthodox monks. Oh my God, it blows your fucking mind. It takes you to new heights when you listen to them sing. These monks, man. so beautiful, so serene. All these religions have the most amazing beauty because they're close to the divine, but they're flawed still. Everything that exists in the mind is flawed. It is not a representation of the whole. It never can be. And when you really start noticing that, you're like, holy shit, how was I so delusional and lost in my own thought, thinking it was me all the time? And now when I get thoughts about myself and my surroundings, I take them as like suggestions. Some friendly and some not so friendly. Some devilish, demon-like nasty. Darius, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you, thoughts. I don't believe you. I don't agree. My truest self doesn't agree. And I like reclaim my power. I take it back. I'm not like, what am I gonna do? Oh my god, I'm so stressed. I'm running low on money. I'm running low on this. I don't know. I don't know. Like, scarcity mindset and shit. No. When you step into yourself, you're not even trying to like project yourself into abundant mindset. You just are an abundance outside of mind. There's no mindset anymore. And that's why it's way more potent than the law of attraction. Because you're not like the law of attraction, they tell you to create those vision boards and all those things to get you to tap into an excitement and a passion and a feeling. And it's that passion and feeling that is creating your reality. But even that passion and that feeling is flawed too, guys, because your truest self is the peace, the serenity, the stillness, that platform that all of those feelings and those excitement and those passions are layered on top of. So even that is flawed. The peace, the stillness is what spawns the most potent reality. It's what manifests the true miracle. It's what creates and heals. When you sleep and your body heals itself, it's tapping into the peace. It's fully at rest. It goes outside of itself and into itself and manifests its own healing properties. It's like, no, Darius, it's a biomechanical thing. We scientifically know what happens and you know what I mean? Like, yes, there are scientific studies on what happens during sleep, but if you think about how much stuff we don't know about sleep, how much stuff we don't know about the mind, the brain itself. We don't know 99% of it, man. And we probably never will. We're making progress always, and we're going to slowly science our way into greater and greater things. But it is not the end-all be-all of reality, guys. God is wondering if you can see beyond this physical illusion. If you can stop losing yourself in your thoughts and your ideas about this physical reality, about your own personal story. When you finally do that, you don't need to incarnate anymore because it's like, what's the point? I hope I don't incarnate again because like I'm kind of like I'm kind of at a place where like it's like, what more is there, you know? What more is there to really do? What more is there to experience? Even even the physical pleasures lose their shine, lose their appeal, guys, after a while, because you're like, what's the point? And that's why I love Ecclesiastes in the Bible so much, in the Old Testament, because the guy is just like jaded from life. He's like, I've seen the true wisdom, and all of this shit is bullshit. It's all folly. It's all nonsense. Chasing yourself into. He's like, I've experienced every fucking thing under the sun, man. And all of these physical, pleasurable, non-pleasurable experiences are all bullshit. And it's like, what's the point? It's like a game. It's like a joke. The life becomes. But I don't look at life as a joke or whatever. I kind of do. I see the comedy in it, the play of the form. I see that. But the other part of me is always thankful and wanting to influence positively, to help humanity, because we really need help now, guys, where we're going and what we've been doing. This mind has been so out of control. Everyone is walking around with it and creating a hell. And we're all co-creating a hell now. And all of these truth tellers and chosen ones that have come before, the masters, the spiritualists, whoever, whatever you want to call them, they've been trying to wake us up out of creating hell on earth, of finding your own kingdom of heaven. I don't know. Are we going to make it? Are we going to course correct, or are we going to keep destroying? God doesn't care, man. He doesn't care. He's gonna have a, even if we kill ourselves off, he's gonna have another life form that comes along that like takes our place. That's adapted, that is like built in and adapted automatically to the hellish landscape that we might or might not create, you know? A place where like, let's say like we like nuke ourselves into oblivion and there's just like nothing but like tons of radiation. Life forms are going to come that like are adapted to that radiation. Stuff that we can't survive in, maybe they could survive in. You know, maybe AI takes over. I don't know, like consciousness within consciousness within consciousness. Like we're creating many, like AI is like the new frontier of consciousness. But even that's limited because it's also based on mind and duality. The AI is never going to have an intuition. It's impossible. So the AI, very rational, very logical, very, you know, like whatever, it can know everything. At least that's physical, but it's never going to understand the unphysical. And that's where your true power lies. Your greatness lies in the unphysical aspect of you, the aware, conscious aspect of you, on which your physical hardwiring and software is built up on. You, you're like layered on top of it at all times. And where I reside, as an example, like I'm just resting in stillness. Like 95, 99% of the time, I'm just like in stillness. And then stuff happens. I interact with my family. I interact with my friends. I interact with like the internet or like a video I'm watching or like a show I'm watching, or I'll meditate or I'll eat or I'll do whatever. But I'm never losing touch with that peace that I am. And all of this stuff is like happening, and the background is of peace that I am is there, and it's just like happening on the surface, and I'm observing and interacting, and I'm not scared all the time. I'm not like self-conscious and like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, oh, I don't know like if I can do that thing tomorrow or today or whatever. I'm not paralyzed by fear that my mind is projecting, and these layers of consciousness and lies that I've bought into are projecting constantly. I don't lose myself in that stuff anymore. I used to, but not anymore. And there is that freedom. You're like, wow, I'm finally free. It isn't like, you know, a nationalistic freedom. It's like the United States, the most free country in America or in the world, yay. It's not like that, where you think you're free because you can go and do certain things and you can't go and do certain things. With this type of freedom, even when you can't do those things, you still realize that you're free because you surrender to whatever happens or doesn't happen. You know it's all already divinely orchestrated. You know that the divinity in you is already tapped into that knowingness, and you're at peace with it. You're like, you're just in love with life. And it's like this majestic feeling, this like magical, alchemical creation all the time that you're participating in, that you're creating with everyone else. The animals and the trees and the birds and the insects and the sky and the, you know, astrology and numerology and, you know, all these things. Here's another thing, a final thing I'm going to leave us with. Like astrology and numerology, those are true. The codes exist there. The truth exists there. Why? We make it true. And God already knows that we're going to look at astrology and numerology to find truths. So he embeds little truths in there for us to decode. So we make it true and he makes it true with us. We are always co-creating that. And so yes, astrology can point to truths about yourself. The energies are truly there, but they're not the end all be all. You don't have to let astrology and numerology dictate your life. But if you are searching for some truths about yourself, you want to know yourself a little bit better, you want to know why like some things don't vibe with you and maybe like learn about your purpose and like what you're predisposed to, then yeah, man, astrology and numerology are super useful for that. There's power in those things, man, because the stars and the moon and the oceans and the earth and all of these things, they all influence us. We're a part of it and it's a part of us. And so the rational scientific person's like, how could the stars possibly influence stuff? I'm not, you know, because you're so tapped into like this separate sense of self and this mental construct. You're like, oh, that's delusional. Astrology can't possibly be true because you can't really see it. It's kind of fake. It's woo-woo shit. You know, psychics can't truly exist. People can't really see the future or understand the past. Oh no, that's way too weird and woo-woo. No. because you're believing so much in the physical. You've given your power so much to this three-dimensional reality that you think is the only thing that exists. And then your lens, your mind, is filtered through that. So everything that you see that confirms the reality that all that exists is the physical keeps like reaffirming your belief. And like to get an atheist or scientific person to like zoom out, something almost super traumatic or like a near-death experience would have to happen or something to get them to change their ways and like realize the truth of what's going on. That like the science is true, yes. The physical is true, yes, but it's only one aspect of the totality of the reality that we live in. Your life exists outside of the mind. Your life exists in the beingness and consciousness that you are. And the mind is layered on top of that. It always will be. The mind can never be the whole. The ego, the sliver, however you want to label it, the slice of the pie, can never understand everything. Impossible. We will never figure out our way into it through the mind. The mind will never analyze itself in terms of itself. And more knowledge about the brain and chemistry and psychology and philosophy and history and all these things will never, ever, ever truly reach the totality of full understanding. Doesn't exist here. It exists here.